If you don't weigh yourself, you don't gain weight or lose weight.
Yeah.
It's like Schrodinger's cat.
Meow 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 meow.
Meow meow.
Meow, meow, meow,
Huh.
meow.
It's that time again. Time for the all-new Culture Cast, which begins right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the all-new Culture Cast. It is now 2021, and this is our first episode of the year for
Amen.
the one of you that are actually listening to it. We have an all-star cast tonight. We have, of course, myself, the most important person here. And then we also have Senor Gorehound. We got, I don't know what that was. We got Miss Jen.
Yo.
So delayed.
Sorry. Thor just brought me water. I asked him for water. He has filled the, I don't know, maybe like this much water. So I'm
Classic
sending
Thor.
it back with the waiter to get new water.
Is Kiwi up next?
Don't look me with the water.
We have, I'm going to go to the OG crew originally here. We got Cuz.
Hey,
What's up, everyone?
You may have been. I don't know. We also have the Kiwi. And we have good old Brian.
Man, I'm the most boring name, just Brian.
So we're back here and we're talking about the new release of Wonder Woman 88 or WW 80. No, 80.
84.
84. Yeah,
I
it's
do it
not.
all
Good
the
start.
time.
wait, what year were you born?
82.
Nick,
So-
we're finally striking while the iron's hot.
Yeah. So WW84, which is actually what it's called in the movie, but I don't know. It doesn't make a difference. The sequel to Wonder Woman, which I guess, according to the internet, has been very decisive among people. So I'm curious about what our group here has to say about it. So I think
If anybody likes it, they're wrong.
Gorehound, if you hate it, it's because you hate women and women-led action films.
No. That's I do like women, and I do support them. Go Jen.
Thank you.
And Kiwi.
I was gonna say,
I think we all like the first one fairly well, if memory
Oh,
serves.
phenomenal.
Yes.
Yes.
That was a thumbs up, all around good movie. So I guess let's go around really quick here. Gorehound, you kind of made your opinion that I guess you did not like this one.
Yeah, I really wanted to like this. The first one just blew me away, and just the cinematic aura that they put on show, and it was just it was really amazing. And then this one, I was really expecting something at least on par, but you know what? I wouldn't even give this. I forgot what I said like as soon as I finished it, but it was like a 2 out of 5. It was just so disappointing, just the entire story and the characters, and I was like, I don't really know what's going on, and I just feel like it's so stupid. And for me to even think that, like, I don't know what's going on, shows how much of a failure this is.
And that's interesting coming from you, given some of the other movies you quite enjoy.
Oh
So-
yeah, I like shit.
Jen, what about you? What were your thoughts on this one? Because I know you really like Kiwi. I think you really liked the first
Yeah.
one. If I'm not mistaken.
I loved Wonder Woman, the first one. I think the scene of her walking across the field is just
Fuck yeah.
absolutely breathtaking. And this was just so aggressively mediocre. It just did not, sometimes a movie just doesn't quite gel, and this was like the definition of didn't quite gel, mixed in with some choices that, what was going on there? What was going on with some of these choices they
Why
made?
was Chris Pine here?
Well, we'll get to Chris Pine. There's a whole lot to talk
I would
about
like
Chris
to
Pine.
get to Chris Pine.
Everyone wants to get Chris Pine.
Mhm.
Cuz, what about you? What were your initial thoughts on WW84?
Yeah, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it was. I was very much. this is one of the movies I was very much looking forward to actually seeing because I was like, I liked that they were going for this very stylized sequel. Kind of just like we're going to go for a theme or an image. I liked it. It was very much kind of like into I don't know. I was really looking forward to it just because of what they were showing. But then actually sitting down the whole 2.5 hours of runtime that this behemoth of a film has. It was just after I finished watching it, I was just like, it was okay. Then the more I kept thinking about it, the more angrier I got, and the more just disappointed I was in just the whole thing altogether. And to kind of put kind of pour some more salt into the wounds. After this, like the next night, Megan and I rewatched the first Wonder Woman, which might as well be Citizen Kane compared to this film in terms of just like, it's hard to believe that the same people behind the first movie had anything to do with it, because it's like, it really does feel like someone else who had no part in what the first movie was and how the story was set up. They just came in and just wrote a completely different film that I don't know who is meant to appeal to or who is meant to actually like.
Okay.
Besides maybe people in like a coma or very small children.
And corporate CEOs.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
Ryan, we texted briefly, so I know you love this movie.
Well, if I could sum it up into one word, I would say bored. I'm bored with the movie. I'm bored with this conversation. It was fucking boring. I did not like it.
Amen.
I had so many expectations for this. Listen, so many different groups of people are doing 80s throwback themes really well. Stranger Things is a great example. This could have been such a fun movie. They wanted to
strip malls.
Wanted to get away from the CEU and do something different. They could have done it. They failed. It's like, I think Chris Pine, we could talk about that. Yeah, they brought him back. It's not that surprising. It could have worked. It didn't work. I don't know what did work about this movie, other than the fact that Gal, I love her. She's great. She is Wonder Woman. They cast her perfectly. Other than that, God, waited this long. If this is what 2021 is going to bring, I'm going back to 2020.
Sure.
Jen, I can see you shaking your head.
I think we should not go back to 2020. I'm gonna make that bold statement. Very bold. Very divisive.
I was being a little over dramatic.
Not to be that guy, but technically it was still released in 2020, so it is the last shit stain that 2020 left behind.
I do think that this is a product for 2020.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Kiwi, what did you think about the movie?
I mean, I think I share the same sentiment as everyone else. Well, I didn't love the movie because I'm kind of like
Did you think it was fun?
Like, there's definitely parts I liked. The equivalent of the scene that Jen had described, when she's going down the freeway, I feel like that was kind of like the equivalent, like going down the highway.
Okay,
but
one good scene.
The whole, I think we all share the same thing with Chris Pine being how he was brought back is the issue that is really tainting the movie for me.
See, that's interesting because
I'm happy they brought him back.
No, not Chris Pine. Because after we were done with the movie, you seemed like you really liked it. In F, is it like? I guess we haven't talked about much.
We haven't.
Oh.
I mean, I wanted to really, really like the movie.
Yeah, but we all wanted to really like it.
Yeah, we did.
I love the first movie. We own it, on Blu-ray, and
and we have it saved on our DVR.
But yeah, I like the scene with Chris Pine when he was changing the clothes. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Maybe I guess I'm surprised. I guess I'm the one who must have liked it the most. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever. I thought it was okay.
All right, I'll give it 3.5 stars.
Out of 5.
A Wonder Woman movie coming off of the first one cannot just be okay. It has to be at least good to fall in the steps of it, fall in the shadow of it.
I was entertained by it.
I like Kristen Wiig in the movie. I thought she did good.
I thought she was one of the worst parts of it.
Well,
when she's leading up to when she becomes like closer to be more of a villainous Cheetah, I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever. It's a typical thing where like, hi, I'm a Hollywood star and I'm going to pretend to be nerdy and I'm going to do everything over the top. It's the same issue I had when Andrew Garfield was Peter Parker. Just like, you are way more confident than what you're portraying. You are not nerdy or dorky or at all.
Yeah, I mean, her whole transition should have been shortened a lot. Because it's okay to say, like, she was a big nerd before she became a villain. But, just say that, like, she was a big nerd and now she's, like, evolved into something far greater than that. But to have it draw out for half the movie, it's, like, stupid.
Hey, she was one of the best looking extras in Cats. So, and that's how I ended my 2020, was rewatching that nightmare. So
I still haven't seen it.
Don't.
Oh, I will. Like I said, I like shit.
I don't know. I didn't mind the long draw with Kristen Wiig.
I didn't either.
I thought it kind of worked because I think too many times in a movie, especially in a superhero movie, when the bad guy starts as good, they like turn on a dime and now I'm evil. Yeah. And then here I think it kind of like built to that.
Well, it's like Wonder Woman. She did just instantly lose her powers. It was a gradual thing too, so it makes sense that she would gradually become the Cheetah.
Yeah.
Sure, but I mean, she's not that great of a villain either for it to be built up. She's, a side villain in this.
Right.
She's really just, not significant at all.
Jen, what are your thoughts on...
Yeah, because, I mean, the first one, they had Hell, Hades.
No,
being
Ares.
The villain. Oh, Ares being the villain, and now it's just like a cat and, a corporate guy.
I mean, I think the problem... So Kristen Wiig, I thought she did fine. I think the problem is that I'd kind of forgotten about her by the time she popped back up. Like, she shows up, you understand that she's having some troubles making friends and connecting, and then they go on their little, like, lunch date, and then, you see a little bit of her, and then there's, like, 45 minutes where she's just completely not in the movie at all, and then she shows back up, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, and then she makes this weird wish, and then suddenly she's a human cat hybrid, and like my understanding, so I don't care about comic books, like whatever, but in the comic books she's supposed to be sort of like the big villain, the big overarching, the Lex Luthor, the whatever, and it just didn't feel like she had that, and I feel like they just were like, well, we can't have just one villain. We have to have two villain, and it just, they didn't really develop either of them well enough to, it was just another thing that felt very half-hearted,
I don't know how well, for a comic book, the character of the Cheetah works fine, but for like a movie, I don't know how that would have worked. Having her being kind of like a sidekick might be, or not a sidekick, but her doing her own thing, and then the two of them teaming up might have worked better. But I'm not as familiar with the Wonder Woman comics, so I don't know how. Sorry. How many Wonder Woman comics have you read, Kiwi? That's right.
No apology needed. Nick is the, foremost author or compendium on Captain America,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Universe.
But I don't know. I like was it Pedro Pascal? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian.
Right.
Mando.
I just came off of Mandalorian and I was like, fuck yeah, he's awesome. And then I come off this and I'm like, first scene is like he's dancing awkwardly.
Well, he's a cheesy 80s businessman. So
he's a Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Trump wasn't more the inspiration for him. I guess they were basing it more on Mike Douglas's, was it Gordon Gekko from Wall Street?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess like all those people kind of blur to like merged together. But
it's definitely more of a caricature, because I remember reading some about them saying that. I'm like, I see what they're trying to say. I think they're trying to avoid like any sort of direct controversy, but I think it is definitely. I mean, it's definitely a mismatch. I would say it's definitely, but I definitely think the primary inspiration is 80s Trump in terms of just that media presence, the hair and stuff like that. But yeah, Pedro Pascal is probably the best part of the whole movie, because he seemed like the only person that was having fun with the role. But even his performance, even his job alone as a villain, because the more you started thinking about like what his goals were and what his ultimate plan was, the more my brain started to hurt.
That's the thing. That's the problem with the movie, is that he didn't have like an ultimate plan. He just wanted to get more powerful for the sake of getting more powerful.
Yeah, I could not project what he was ultimately going for.
The movie's very unclear on that. Like
it was also a little unclear on what his powers were exactly, like what he had to make people, like why he had to make people wish, and then when they wished for the wrong thing, and he was like, wait, don't you mean this other thing? And then that worked out, but he was like, but also I have to take something, which is, not really.
Got two wishes, didn't she? Didn't she get 2 wishes?
Yeah. See, that was my that was my issue too, is that like earlier in the movie he was like, oh, I already asked for your wish, but then later on in the movie he goes to Cheetah like, oh, I'm feeling generous, you can have another wish. Well, why wasn't he to the other guy he could have a second wish?
The only thing I could think of, and this is just me speculating because the movie's not clear on it, was that maybe giving someone a second wish like really drains him, because he was looking really bad in the end where he was
but he just at that point he granted everyone a wish.
Right.
See,
I don't know. But
my understanding was that when he was doing the whole, I'm just going to dub it the Wishmageddon, when everyone was wishing on him, then he was just throwing out wishes for himself and for Cheetah left and right. That was my understanding, because that was the only way it made sense with the rules that they established earlier.
She was already a cat by then.
No, she was still human. I think it was.
No, she was cat.
She was cat, because she was fighting Wonder Woman when he was starting his trans.
It was
no. He
flying. That's when she asked to be the apex predator.
Yeah, when they're in the helicopter. No, because when she goes into the base, she was still Kristen Wiig. Then he starts the Wishmageddon, and then the next time we see her, she's a cat lady. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
But she had wished for it though before the Wishmageddon.
Right. See, again, the fact that none of us can clearly identify.
Can we move
on? Yeah, that's fine. I'm done with that. Thank you, Gorehound.
Sorry, Gorehound. We know you have a hot date at 8:42.
It's just, that's the thing. Wonder Woman is a god, and this is the best they could come up with. Seriously, these villains, the villains were just horrible. I didn't care about either of them. You have to care about characters, and unfortunately, I barely cared about Wonder Woman in this movie, which is really odd because I really like the character. You care about her in the first movie. You care about, what's his face, Chris Pine. You just don't care. And how did he get brought back in some other?
Yeah, we're moving over to Chris Pine right now.
Yeah, let's go to Chris Pine, because that's the big.
Yeah, not to bring it there, but.
No, we have to, because this is, I think, the biggest thing that people are maybe talking about.
This is the biggest problem that I have.
Wonder Woman raped a guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
Believe me, that guy does not mind. Have you seen it? Sorry.
No, don't pull that sort of
right?
bullshit.
Yeah.
Gross.
Okay.
See, it wasn't until after I started reading stuff online about that. My initial thought when they showed it, I was like, oh, they're doing a quantum leap thing. Kind of like with Scott Bakula.
That's kind of what I thought, too. It's funny you say
I was
that.
like, okay, they're doing...
Wonder Woman was able to see him as Chris Pine.
Yeah, I was like, okay, they're quantum leaping. That's their explanation. And then afterwards, once I finished watching the movie, I went on like Reddit or something like that, and then that's when I started seeing all these articles, and then my brain started thinking more about it. I was like, I guess that is a little bit problematic. I just was thinking of quantum leap rules, but Yeah.
I don't know Quantum Leap.
Oh boy.
So Scott Bakula is a time traveler, but he
jumps
can't. His consciousness goes into different bodies throughout history, and he has to solve a problem in that person's body before he jumps into the next body. With the
So,
next
like,
jump,
what's
hopefully
the
taking him
wrong?
back home.
I never watched it.
You
He doesn't
should.
get home.
He never makes it home.
Spoiler for the end of the 4 years.
Yeah, for a
But
for a 20-year-old plus show.
yeah, so Chris Pine is in this other dude's body. Who the only people who see Chris Pine's face is apparently Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Everyone else sees the other guy.
Yeah.
Are we
the
sure
Graveyard
that
Queen
other
could
people
not
don't
comprehend
see
it.
Steve? We're sure that they see him as because like
Well,
Because he looked in the mirror.
he looks it right.
and he sees the other guy. So even Chris Pine couldn't see Chris Pine.
Yeah.
So it's weird that why didn't you just conjure him up to be?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
There's
you have
10,000 ways you could do that.
Why in some other guy's body? It doesn't. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I mean, the only thing I could think of is that by doing it that way, he was in a guy's house, and they got to have that wardrobe scene with him changing. Because if
They
he,
could have gone to the store.
A
It's
lot.
they were in a mall.
that's true. All right.
A hot topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why
well-
that guy? Why him? Why? You know.
It would have been neat if it was a reveal that, say, he was like a descendant of Chris Pine of somehow, like.
That would have been something.
No,
Oh.
because that's what she would have slept with, like a descendant of.
I'm
Nick,
not
you should be a
saying that makes it
director.
Better.
If it's okay for Captain America.
That's right.
I was kind of thinking like of all the multitude of characters that DC Comics has come up with, the fact that they couldn't have pulled out a name tag, be like, oh, this guy's name is Guy Gardner, or like I don't know, insert random DC Comics character in there, because there's a million names to pick from.
They didn't want to redo a whole love story, and just since that story was established, they could just jump right into it.
Well, I just meant more just like instead of it just being a random dude, like, oh hey, it's
Guy.
yeah.
I don't
But
think
the
they
other
did they?
what?
Thought they.
Did they give his name in the movie?
I feel like
No, they never did. He's a dude.
Wasn't he an engineer? Did I make that up?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, they say that's all Chris Pine is able to find is that this guy's apparently an engineer and he's got a futon and that's about it.
That does sound familiar.
Well, the only thing that at the time, and this kind of goes back to points that we made before about why they couldn't do more magical stuff, is at that point in the movie, the way the wishes worked is like, oh, it's a wish / lucky coincidence that things are falling into place. Like the guy wishes for the cup of coffee, and then, oh, hey, I accidentally bought a second cup. Who wants it? It's got.
Who wants to know what the monkey's paw was for the coffee cup?
See, my thing was.
It was decaffeinated.
My theory was Hershey squirts all day.
Oh.
But then later, I think literally the next big wish in the movie, is like the prince. He's like, oh, I wish I could have all this territory, and then a wall just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But they didn't establish that the dream still could do that. It just seemed to be more like, oh, these coincidences will happen that just where it's kind of like blurring the line between magic and like what's real. And then see, basically it goes back to the bigger issue of the magical MacGuffin not having a basic set of rules. It's in this wish, it's more of a coincidence that this happens. In this other wish, something is just going to physically manifest, like nukes out of nowhere. So it's very unclear why some things just appear and why some things just so happen to occur, which couldn't have occurred before.
This might be too much nitpicking, but
This podcast? No.
Yeah, I know. Some of the wishes, like when Max had his secretary wish that they'd have more help, and suddenly like there's a flood of people coming in the office, or the other time where Max wished, or the other businessman wished that Max would be successful.
Yeah.
Like the FBI came and swarmed him like instantly. Like does it like would that have happened without the wish, or does the wish retroactively?
I mean, I think we're saying that this is like a magic lamp, like a genie thing, but it's very clearly not. So like it's a stone that can grant wishes, and that's basically as much as we know. So really, the director can play with it however he wants. Yeah, her.
Patty Jenkins.
Yep.
I want to go back to, before we get too far off Chris Pine. I am a Chris Pine fan.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Who isn't?
I like him. He's good.
I was upset that they brought Chris Pine back just to get rid of him again.
They needed the sacrifice. They needed Wonder Woman to like choose between her love and saving the day.
But like she is not known for her love and romance, you know.
Right, that's the problem, isn't it? It's more stereotypical crap, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, same with Kristen Wiig's character.
What else could she sacrifice? She doesn't care about material stuff. She
love
lives
of country,
forever. Like,
doing the right thing.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like what else could she sacrifice besides, she doesn't have any friends, like
the Justice League.
Well, they're not there yet.
1984.
It's weird. Given the first one was deemed very feminist and pro-women based on what Wonder Woman was doing in like a man's world.
Yeah.
This movie seems so backwards in that regard because not that you have to have that kind of message, but like Wonder Woman was pining for a guy for like 70 years. It seems a little.
I would pine for you.
You should.
For 70 years?
I see that plan.
Well, in I think in Batman v Superman, I mean that's the whole reason she gets caught up in that story, is because Lex Luthor has that original picture of her from back in World War One. Like, so she still clearly cares about Steve Trevor even all the way up until 2016. So she's still got another 20 years of grief left to go.
I mean, that's fine if you still like have like thoughts of someone from way back when, but like you're like, I'll never love again.
So if I die, you're gonna remarry?
Yeah, immediately. I got a list of options here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call Anna Kendrick.
Oh.
She's been waiting for me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
She's not married, so what other reason would there be?
You're happily married.
I am happily married.
Yeah. Hey, everybody has a free pass.
Yeah.
But it seemed very weird for just a guy she knew for like essentially a long weekend.
So you never said how many stars that you would give the movie, because I'm trying to figure out if you liked it the most, how many stars would you give it?
I mean,
I said 3.5.
3.5, I guess. Or she said 3.5. 3 out of 5 on the Netflix scale. I mean, it's still fresh in my mind, but
I was like 1 or 2 out of 5. I was just so disappointed.
Gorehound, like I've never seen you rank something that low.
Because I had high expectations for it, and for me to be let down so much, to be just like, oh, Wonder Woman is just like a stereotypical woman in every other movie. She was the feminist icon that I wanted to see, doing something different. But no, she just falls into.
She's not a feminist because she had a boyfriend. But I think the problem is that in the movie, the one thing that Kristen Wiig's character cares about is like being able to like walk in heels and wear clothes nice, like that's not great. She's not, she's clearly this like smart, accomplished person, and then the only thing she wants is like, she doesn't even want like strength, or she doesn't want like the ability to defend herself. All she wants is, to like get attention and to be able to walk in heels, and like that's kind of
and do we know
a little retrograde.
She sees Diana wearing leopard print heels and says, that's gonna be my whole image from now on.
Oh,
cat stuff.
Okay. I didn't know how she made that connection to the cat. It's certainly weak. Like, you couldn't have come up with something on your own.
Well, did they ever mention that she's a zoologist? I feel like I know she rattled off like 20 different professions that she had, which I don't know if you guys
which
ever
is still
seen the show.
far-fetched.
You guys ever seen the show Garth Marenghi's Dark Place?
No.
Okay, then never mind. I'm going to just move on past that. But yeah, it was like she listed off like 30 things that she was a specialty in.
Yeah.
And like, I don't remember her. I thought she said cryptozoologist.
Oh,
But I don't think she ever straight up said zoologist, which is like,
yeah, she
that
said
would make
part-time
sense with the animals.
Well,
Yeah.
she was a zoologist. She would have worked at the zoo, not at the museum.
Yeah.
It's a science place. There's science that goes on.
Maybe this version of this version, yeah, I don't know. This version of this version of that museum, maybe they had animals, just like they have jets fully fueled.
Yeah. It's an interactive museum, Nick.
I want to know, what was everybody's favorite parts about this movie?
Can I go first on this one?
No.
I really wanted to hear Kiwi's first.
No,
go first.
No,
go first.
No, you go first.
No, you go first.
Oh, you too. You're so cute.
I have it's two parts, but they're kind of connected. So spoilers for the movie. I absolutely adored Linda Carter's cameo at the very end of the movie.
Bit unnecessary, but
yeah.
I don't care if it was unnecessary. Loved it. Because she's
glad
great.
it made you happy.
And two, this movie really felt like an episode of the old Wonder Woman show. And if you've never seen it, in the 70s, she never took on like major supervillains. It's more like crooks of the week kind of thing, and she only popped in as Wonder Woman like once or twice an episode. The rest, she's just in her like regular civilian clothes, investigating whatever person is being kidnapped or whatever crazy thing's being stolen. So like on that regard, I appreciated the movie. I don't know if it was intentional to like as a callback to that old show, the way they structured it, but it reminded me if like that show had a bigger budget and decided to put more fantasy elements into it. But so I appreciate that as a fan of that older show.
We have taught our oldest daughter.
Both of them now know how to do
both
it.
of them. When we say do Wonder Woman, they
spin around.
That's adorable.
That's cute.
Well, yeah, why didn't she do that in this movie? That would have been something cool. I think they could have added. I mean, they not do that. I don't really know the comics that well, but
I think it originated in that show, and occasionally they'll do it in the comics, but more as a nod to the show. So it's not like it's integral to her character.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if they did that. All right. What about Gorehound? What about you? What was your favorite part?
Pretty much like Gal Gadot's beauty. That was about the only thing I enjoyed watching, because the rest of it was frankly bullshit to me.
You didn't like Chris Pine's beauty?
I couldn't get past the fact that like how unnecessary he was. The way that
way late. I thought he'd be in there sooner. It takes him like a good hour.
Yeah. Just like the mechanics of how he came back, and Gal Gadot doesn't need a man to like save the world. Just and I was really looking forward to seeing Kristen Wiig as the cheetah, but it just took so long to develop up to how she looked, and by that time, just it all dissipated when I saw the CGI of her as a cheetah. So,
Kiwi, what about you? What was your favorite part besides Chris Pine?
Gal Gadot. Well, I like the highway scene. I was cheering for her.
That was a good action scene.
Going down.
Very, very CGI, but
well,
I expected higher.
I didn't think the CGI was that bad in that scene.
When they were, I remember seeing some people in the sky, like, or maybe it was her jumping, and I was just like, wow, that's shit.
Are you sure it wasn't HBO Max glitching out on you, which apparently it's been doing for like a bunch of people?
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't recall the quality being poor. I remember the lighting being shit at the end.
The lighting?
Yeah, like I couldn't really see, like,
Oh,
I think they made it dark so you couldn't really see how shitty of a cheetah they made her, but so.
Jen, what about you? What was your favorite thing in the movie?
You know, I liked that first that scene in the mall where she stops the villains. You know, it was just some like, you know, it wasn't. The problem I have with like most action movies right now is that it's just everything's so CGI, and anytime there's like a lot of CGI, I get very bored. But like a little bit of CGI that just like, you know, makes actors safer, you know, makes stunt people safer, fine with that, you know. Like I'm not against the concept. I don't like seeing, you know, just CGI person versus CGI person, and like that's the only thing that's happening. I think that's really boring, and I don't think the CGI is quite there in terms of quality, where a lot of times, you know, people look too light or like the.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2020. CGI should be flawless.
Yeah. So, well, right, and like, or they shouldn't rely on it, you know, like use practical effects. And I feel like that opening the first like big fight sequence, you know, like pretty much everything there was real. You know, I'm sure it was sweetened, but like otherwise it was all pretty practical. I think the shots of the, you know, 80s mall were really fun. I mean that's the reason it was in the trailer, right? Like you had this idea it was going to be this very fun movie based on especially this.
But we've all seen Stranger Things, and that was our, you know, scale.
I have not seen Stranger Things.
Okay. Well, Stranger Things
right now and watch it.
Yeah.
They nailed, you know, 80s malls. Yeah. And that's what we're coming off of. And it was so subpar compared to that.
Were you expecting the whole movie to take place in the mall?
Like, no, I just liked how fun that was. Like that it felt like the right amount of 80s. Like I don't need everything to be crazy shoulder pads or anything. Like I feel like, you know, there's kind of a way to like use that as flavoring, and I feel like they struck the right balance right there. There were parts of the movie where I felt like, you know, and I understand not everything has to be 100% accurate, but I felt like a lot of the clothes, they like went for something that looked better on her than like really incorporated the looks of the 80s. So that was a little disappointing, but I felt like it was like the right amount of the 80s. So I felt like that was probably my favorite scene. It was really fun.
Brian, what about you? What was your favorite part?
I really hope you're going to do me last, because I've been sitting here for the last 5 minutes trying to find one in my head. I can't find a single scene in that movie I liked, unfortunately.
Not even like the 80s mall scene?
I mean, sure. If I have to pick something, sure, it's a great scene. I think it was, you know, again, I don't, you know, she's a god, and she's catching petty criminals at a mall. I just find it all very, like, boring. I don't know. I just feel there should be more to her character than what they're doing. I think it's very, you know, I don't know. I just move on.
Cuz, what about you?
Yeah, Jen kind of stole my only scene that I liked. The whole, everything leading up to the mall fight, and then I think as soon as it ends, when the cops show up, it's probably the only part of the movie where I didn't have any issues at all. Like everything was fun, everything was colorful. It was kind of, you know, it was a different type of action sequence because it was very much, it relied on her having to be on the character having to do more, you know, not punching everyone through a wall. Like there was creative stuff going on, like her, you know, rescuing the kid and landing, putting her on like the little coin operated horse and stuff like that, and punching the guy through the drum, and he's, you know, he's kind of hanging on there. Like it's fun. It's the only sequence that's fun and did not frustrate me. Because I think after that, the only other thing I could think of that I liked was probably when they put Pedro Pascal's Max Lord on screen. I mean, his scenes were always pretty good. Yeah, his scenes are always really good. He's probably the only part of the movie outside, you know, that I think I would actually want to, like, you know, look up clips on YouTube again. But yeah, everything else, the more it was kind of like the more I stewed on the movie, the more I was like, well, that was pretty dumb. But then the rest of it was good. Well, no, but then I just kept breaking it down and down. So right now, those are the only two gems I've got left that I actually liked and think are worthwhile.
I really think that this is a movie that suffered because it didn't go in theaters. I think a lot of times with superhero movies, especially, they're dumber than we think they are because when you're leaving the theater right away and when you're rating it on Tomato Meter and all that, you're like, wow, that was great, adrenaline, crazy. But like
It's
when you're
actually
in your house
Tomato.
and you can like pause it so you can go use the bathroom and then you can like go get some popcorn and then you're like sitting there, in the dark afterwards, like chewing and thinking like, like that was pretty dumb. Like there was a lot of stuff there that felt very much like it was designed by a corporation. In a way that like I think if we had seen it in theaters, I think a lot more people would have a much more positive response to it, even if in the long run they'd thought about it more. Just because people enjoy going to movie theaters and like
I did
being in an audience
legitimately
full of people.
I did legitimately treat this like a movie theater because I was like, I paid $15 or $16 for this for a month, and like I'm really only getting HBO for this. And since then I have found like a lot more value to HBO Max. But what's that?
Sesame Street.
Oh, the late night show?
No, just the Sesame Street.
We're more YouTubers on that front.
You can watch every single episode on HBO. You need to go back to the very first season and look at Big Bird. We have daughters, so it's not weird.
Our little ghoul is watching The Secret Life of Pets 2 on repeat for about the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, we went through a phase like that.
We went through Pets 2 also.
So
we should do a podcast.
Parenting sounds awful, guys.
Honestly, today she would not calm down for about half an hour, and we just gave up and we're like, fine, you can watch a stupid movie. We tried everything.
Gorehound, just be glad she's not watching Wonder Woman 84 on repeat.
That'd be so weird.
We need to hear what Nick liked about the movie.
I was the first one who went.
Oh.
I said it reminded me of
yeah, that's right. That's right.
I can go again.
No, I would like to add something. That maybe it's cheesy, but because it took place in the 80s and there's so many great 80s stars, I wish there would have been like a couple like small cameos from like 80s people.
Like RoboCop?
Yeah.
Peter Weller? or Peter Weller or actually RoboCop?
Yeah, I mean either or. I just finished RoboCop 2 recently, so.
You could have saved Wonder Woman.
Is Ronnie Cox still alive, or is he dead?
I think he's still alive. Probably like a million years old at this point, but
I mean like small cameos, not like I'm not trying like with the reboot of Ghostbusters, like Bill Murray's cameo.
Like Bill
really
Murray
makes me mad in that movie. I actually like the female Ghostbusters. I like that movie. I do.
Yeah, that concept is awesome. I just think the execution of it was poor.
I didn't like Bill Murray in that movie, but see that cameo was too long. Like the other cameos that were like smaller, like oh hey that's a cool nod to them,
It's that guy.
I would have liked to have seen that in Wonder Woman.
I appreciate that they made Max Lord.
I'm sorry, RoboCop wasn't released. It was released in '87.
So he was 3 years off.
Yeah, he didn't exist then. But the Toxic Avenger did exist in '84.
Thank you. I appreciate that they made Max Lord actually Hispanic versus how he's white in the comics, and that they, like when I first saw pictures of Pedro Pascal as Max Lord, I thought, oh, he's really in real life Hispanic, but he's going to play white or something like that. And I'm glad they didn't go that route. Just not just for diversity's sake, but I like it when actors actually play who they are, kind of thing in movies. And also it gives a nice little spin, not a spin, I guess, but like in the 80s, you didn't have a lot of, as far as I remember, most of your sleazy millionaires were old white guys who were always trying to cheat the IRS or something. And so this added like a little bit of extra flavor to that, which I appreciated.
And I was gonna say that was kind of the role they had for like Simon Stagg, like where he's like the business partner. But the only thing that was really frustrating, besides outside of Max Lord's plan to take over the world through wishes, which gets more confusing the more you think about it. the only thing that was really confusing, so his second introduction, we'll call it, because, he introduced us at the Smithsonian, says, oh, I'm going to throw a benefit in this, and, is throwing off all his money. But then the next scene that we see him in, where he kind of goes to his office, I mean, that whole scene tells you everything you need to know about that character. Like, oh, it's big and impressive. You go in, you're thinking this is an important place, but then you get behind the scenes and the walls are gutted. There's like no one working there. But yeah, that tells you everything we needed to know about this character in that second scene with him. But then at the end of the movie, when he's getting, I don't know, the lasso of truth is, Diana's talking to him through the lasso of truth and showing his truth to the world or something. But then we get a montage showing like, oh yeah, he had a shitty childhood and really struggled to be a successful businessman, which is kind of like, I mean, it's good to have, but it feels kind of unnecessary. It's like they shot that footage, didn't know what to do with it, and just like, we'll stick it in here at the end. No, we got to meet a 2.5 hour runtime.
They wanted to make the sympathetic villain. So like, he's bad, but he's deep down a good person who just got in over his head.
But we already showed his kid. That's the thing. It's just, it's very bizarre.
And I never took him to be like a bad guy. I was just like, I think he's just like trying to make the world like legitimately better and not really hurting anybody.
No. He was definitely making the world worse though, because he wasn't, or not making the world worse necessarily, but he wasn't in it to like make the world better. He was in it to make money. And
yeah,
he wanted to, that's why he wanted the oil. That's why he wanted the, whatever. Like,
he was granting people wishes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The wishes were all murder.
You brought this up, I think it was you who said, why didn't anyone wish for world peace?
Oh, I think you brought it up. I didn't bring that up.
Did I bring that up?
Someone brought it. Wasn't me.
I don't know if I did. Wasn't you?
I thought about it.
Were we drunk?
I wasn't. The thing I brought up was, how come not one person watching this thing said, I wish this idiot would go away.
They did. Someone.
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Someone did wish someone to die, though.
Yeah.
They dropped dead.
You see some chump on the screen. You mean to tell me the whole world is not one person in the world is gonna be like, this guy's an idiot. What's he talking about?
I think the ending really hit differently during quarantine, in a way that it wouldn't have hit, I think, if 2020 had been a normal year, because you're watching, at the end, she's saying everyone needs to, revoke their wish in order to make the world a better place. And what we've learned in 2020 is that even when people are given the option to do simple things to make it better for the rest of everybody else, they won't. So like watching all these people just being like, no, you're right. We shouldn't wish that the Irish were all, going back to Ireland or whatever. And you're like, no, people would just be like, fuck this guy. Like I want everyone to suffer.
The fact that everybody is making these wishes and nobody is contradicting each other, what makes one wish better than the other, it's very foggy.
Or like how they believe, like, oh, he says he'll grant a wish. Sure, why not? I mean, as far as we know in this world, to the general population, they don't have a lot of supernatural things going on that the general people know of. So some idiot on the TV is like, make a wish. I mean, is everyone going to be like, I wish for this? Like, take it seriously? I
felt like it was more sarcasm, like, okay, drop dead, and then they did.
And then that brings another point, which doesn't make much sense, is that
how could she renounce her wish if she was dead?
It's true, but if
the Irish are all going back to Ireland.
I guess.
Oh, blimey.
Well, it's about time. The mechanism. So you could watch him on TV, and it works before he had physically touch you.
Yeah.
And I know they said it touches everyone.
No, there was technology. It was the satellites. He acquired technology for the rays to reach everybody.
No, I get that.
Okay.
I get that everyone could watch him around the world. That part made sense.
But touching.
But like
No,
like he had to like
Yeah, it
hold
was-
his hand. Like
they
was-
covered it. He acquired the technology because there was some new technology that was confidential, and he says, I want it. And that was what, like, the rays were able to, like, transmute his touch.
It- I
It
always
was
took that more.
far-fetched, but
That's
they
not
did
how
they
science
did
works.
cover their bases.
I took that more like when not Ronald Reagan was talking. I was ready for them to say like, well, yeah, it touches people, but like in a metaphorical sense, like we'll be able to reach out to them, not in a physical touch,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah,
It's still a television screen.
the fake president or the fake Ronald Reagan kind of said like, well, like I don't think it actually means it's going to touch you, but because he had a line up along those lines, but that was
Yeah.
If you're gonna put Ronald, if you're gonna set a movie in 1984 and you're gonna meet the president and you're not willing to commit to Ronald Reagan and make him do something bad, like
I agree with. I
don't
agree.
bother.
I don't like that when they bring presidents in movies like this and it's just some random person. I don't. I've said in the past.
yeah.
Right.
The
Or,
only-
or have it be the vice president that no one, like something like that. But like, if you're gonna do Ronald Reagan, do Ronald Reagan.
I mean, how many comedians? I remember watching a bunch of old SNL bits. People can do really good impressions of Ronald Reagan. I'm sure there's a lot of comedians today and a lot of actors that can do really good impressions of Ronald Reagan.
I don't need it to be perfect, but I need it to be clear that it's him. Like
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't have to have the perfect nose. He just has to you have to commit to it instead of being kind of wishy-washy and being like, oh, he's the president and he's a little religious, but like, is he Reagan? Who's to say?
Well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
I'm dropping off, guys. So good conversation. The movie sucked. All right, looking forward to the next one.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Peace, Gorehound.
So
He just took off.
I wish that I agree with you. If it's a movie set present day and they don't want to use the real current sitting president, I get that.
Mhm.
But to have a movie distinctly taking place in the past and not using that, unless you're on doing some alternative history thing,
Right.
just commit and make it Reagan. I mean, the president. It's not even they like made the president be all that bad in this movie. He was just like a guy who got hustled.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Stop. What are you doing?
Well, everybody got hustled in such a weird way too, because it's just like he says their wish, and then people are just like, "Yeah, I guess," and they just happen to say, they just happen to parrot the exact phrase or everything that he just said. Like, I think
Don't you wish the president would call me today?
Sure, why not? But then I think the taxi cab one is like, don't you wish that the traffic would split like the Red Sea? I'm like, that's a very specific request. Yeah. I guess. I mean, I could wish for all green lights. I mean, that seems more probable.
That's, yeah. I mean, did they have to like mean it, or is it just like, I wish for this? If like, how someone would say like, oh man, I wish I could have a cup of, well, like at the beginning, I wish I could have a cup of coffee. Like just something you say just to say, not because you actually, are legitimately wishing it.
Well, and then that goes to the issues with how the MacGuffin works throughout the whole movie, is because you got the one scientist just having to be touchy and saying, I wish for a cup of coffee, and a cup of coffee kind of appears. Then Diana holds it with the implication that, she thought of wishing Steve Trevor back, and yet that makes it happen. But then when Max Lord gets the Dreamstone powers, and he's talking to his son, that was probably one of the more confusing parts, because then he's like, the son starts to wish for it, he takes his hands off, but then he touches his legs and says, I wish for your greatness, and that never comes up again. Like, I feel like that was supposed to be something, but nothing ever happens to that. Like, it's just so inconsistent, and the origin of what this does, because I think we find out about, it's almost like near the end of, it's like we're about 3/4 through the movie before we find out, this is what this thing does and why it does it. And it's very, I mean, the movie already took a while to really get started. And then it finally picks up near, and then I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. I kind of got lost in my train of thought. I started improvising a conversation, an improvisation. But yeah, I would say is the film's biggest issue, especially in comparison to the first movie. Like everybody's goals are set up from the very beginning. Like when you're first introduced, you know exactly what everybody wants, why they want to do it, and how do we get that accomplished. It just perfectly flows. This movie just starts until about maybe after Diana renounces her wish, and then it kind of flows pretty naturally.
I take issue with Cheetah's not death because
when she got like electrocuted.
She was electrocuted in the water, and then she somehow survived that. I did not like that because
she's an apex predator.
Because she's like, she's like, I'm never gonna change, and then Wonder Woman's like, okay, basically die, and then she doesn't die.
Well, and also she had wished earlier to be just as strong as Diana.
That's right. Yeah.
And the electrocution.
The other wish? Because she got a second wish, did she not lose Diana's powers and then became Cheetah powers?
Well, you'd think if you get the wish for the phrase apex predator, you would get all the previous powers plus then some.
No, just cheetahs.
Yeah.
You just become a cheetah.
Cheetahs are weak. I saw a video of a crocodile taking down a cheetah. It was terrifying. They're not very strong.
They're not apex predators.
There you go. That's just natural. That's just Discovery Channel for you.
Diana should have just brought a big thing of yarn and said, "Here, Barbara, go play with that."
I guess if I had to think of how you could make that scene dumber, Diana just tossed her in the water, and then Cheetah's like, "Help! Cats can't swim." I don't know.
It's interesting. I think Gorehound, or was it you, Jen? Someone said earlier that this felt like a movie made by a corporation. When, I guess in reality, Warner Brothers gave Patty Jenkins, complete creative freedom to do whatever she wanted, I guess within reason, but...
Yeah, I don't believe that somehow. It just, everything feels very much like it had to go through several levels of approval. We can't have real Reagan. We got to have fake Reagan. We can't have, we've got to, do an 80s clothing montage. We got to do, that all just, it felt very much like they just kind of picked all this stuff that had to be in the movie.
I'm just going on the interviews that Jenkins had given that she had much more creative freedom in this one versus the last one, but who knows?
The main thing I looked up between the two movies is, and this is because Warner Brothers has been notorious for kind of futzing with their movies because they're worried about they want to make sure that they make all the money.
They hit all four quadrants.
Yep. So the biggest difference between Wonder Woman 2017 and Wonder Woman 84 is that movie only had one screenplay writer. This one, in theory, should have been better because Jenkins was involved, but also Jeff Johns, who I know, and there's some other guy, Dave Callahan. I'm not sure what he's done, but I know Jeff Johns has been involved with DC Comics for years. But I'm not sure if it was maybe a case of too many cooks, maybe one voice is getting drowned out. Because the main thing that made me go, maybe Patty Jenkins was the issue, was the fact that she fought to keep that opening on Themyscira, which serves no function in the story at all.
Well, it does, but not the greatest.
Yeah.
It says, Wonder Woman, teaching Wonder Woman you can't cheat to get what you want. And that's what the villain is doing, and so there's the parallel there. But it's really just wanted to throw the other Amazons in the movie.
Yeah, and I got that too. But it was very much like she only cheats kind of at the end when she gets accidentally knocked off the horse. If she had cheated throughout the whole race, that would have made more sense. Or that would, if she was falling behind, but she really wanted to win, and then she found that secret shortcut that let her cut to the front of the line. See, that would have actually, hey, you can't win through cheating. But instead, it's like, oh, I'm about to lose this race. At the very end of it, here's a convenient shortcut because I'm looking what I can do, and somehow I'm not getting. I'm getting punished for an unfair disadvantage, which is a tree branch hitting me. I don't know. I get the idea of what they're going for, but the end project. That's when I was like, oh, that doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really seem fair, and we're already 10 minutes into the movie.
I don't think I liked that they actually went back to the Amazon island. I think it seemed like, again, they were just trying to set her up again, like in the first movie to some extent, as a kid, and then back to, I didn't like that.
Robin White's got heat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's weird is both Robin White, I think, the woman who plays her mother, Connie Nielsen, I think they're listed in terms of the starring credits, even though they're only in that one sequence.
Contracts, baby.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe.
But the mall sequence I felt was just the better intro, to this. If we're going to set the story up in the 80s, why are we starting at Themyscira for a lesson that I feel like could have been placed pretty much anywhere throughout the story? It didn't have to be specifically Themyscira. I don't know. That was my first red flag that something ain't smelling right.
But do we need the lesson to be set up for Wonder Woman that she shouldn't cheat? Do we need to see that? I think we all kind of know that she knows that, or that she's that kind of character that kind of wouldn't do that. I just don't feel it needs to be a lesson I need to see her learn, personally.
Yeah.
You might be right on that, because in the movie, her big sacrifice is to give up Chris Pine, essentially, so she can get her powers back and save the day. And her getting Chris Pine.
Did you say Steve Trevor?
It's easier, Chris Pine. Was just happenstance. It's she didn't know, she wasn't intending on wishing for him. She was just kind of like, oh, I wish he was back, not knowing that the thing she had actually had the power to do that.
Right, she didn't even know the stone was working. She was just,
Right.
So
she wouldn't have made that wish if she would have known it would have come true. Well, we don't know. Maybe she would have, but.
See, that would have been character drama, her making this kind of Faustian wish. But instead, oh, I just accidentally wished you to be back to life.
Yeah. There's so many problems with this movie. That's the thing. There's so many issues. None of them, we can't even suss any of them out. We can't even come to conclusion. 4 or 5 of us even came and say, well, that worked out for none of us can. That's the problem.
So how come Joaquin Phoenix wasn't in this movie as the Joker?
Different universe. The multiverse.
He's
still dancing on those steps.
He's still dancing. This took place 2 weeks after he blew Robert De Niro's head off. Can you also bring up the fact that Wonder Woman can apparently just turn things invisible now, just because we had to include the invisible jet in this movie?
It's weird they didn't set that up earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was a fun sequence. I loved her line, I did it once with a mug, and then I lost it. I thought
that's kind of funny. That was fun.
That was cute.
Now, can she fly? Was she flying in this movie?
At the end, she was.
Yeah.
Just over the sky.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like she was almost kind of traveling the wind to keep her up there, but actually it's like Superman flying, I guess.
She's soaring with style.
Yeah.
Or she's falling with style. There we go.
In the comics, sometimes she could fly, other times she can't. It just depends on who's writing it and how they're approaching it.
Could she fly in the show?
She could not fly in the show. She could jump really high.
It's the 70s. They did not have CGI.
Right. Well, they could have faked it. I mean, they had the old Superman show where they faked where he was flying. And that was in the 50s.
Nick, this is a $200 million movie. We got to cut corners somewhere.
Hey, I like the part where she was swinging using a rope on the lightning. I thought that was kind of a interesting sequence.
That's probably the closest the movie gets to like a unique visual, like something that's actually memorable. Like kind of like the first movie has the No Man's Land sequence. That's probably the closest thing of something that's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That's something I'm going to not forget immediately, as opposed to the rest of the film.
Yeah, they couldn't even save it. They had to show us in the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer was much better than the whole movie itself. That first trailer came out with like the music on the background. Like, yeah, that you watch that again, that'll get you pumped.
You know, I was saying
it's like 2.5
to Thor
minutes.
the other day, I loved back in the day when you'd buy DVDs and they would include the trailer that had like prompted you to watch the movie. Because, you know, sometimes you'd like watch a movie and be like, why was this on my list? I don't remember. Yeah. And, you know, I feel like it's good to like revisit it and be like, okay, well, what did they promise me versus what did I get? Or what jokes did they not include that would have made me realize that these were the only 3 minutes of jokes?
Jen, it's for that exact same reason that every time I pop in Tommy Wiseau's The Room, I have to watch the short trailer and the long cut trailer.
Smart, honestly.
You know, off topic, but there's a movie, the Highlander series, the one of the later movies, Highlander Endgame, which came out in 2000, which is wow, 20 years ago. The trailer, the movie's terrible. Let me just get that out of the way. But the trailer, they purposely shot scenes just for the trailer, never intending on adding them into the movie. That would not have made sense if they added them into the movie. They had like weird effects in them and gave the villain like all these weird powers that they made just for the trailer.
What, to get you pumped or something?
I guess to like, I don't know, because they couldn't cull enough footage from the actual movie to make a trailer that might get people to come see it.
That's awful.
Yeah, like it's so weird how they did that. And it's like not one shot or two shots.
For that?
I'm sure they did. Like, no one besides me actually went to see the movie, so.
It backfired.
I'm just curious. How did you guys, Charlie, you or Cuz, you saw the movie at a drive-in, right?
So, yeah, I was meaning to bring this up. So I want to save theaters, but, you know, I'm trying to be smart. I tried to see it at a drive-in. But the little punk kids behind it apparently broke the projector or something. So.
Oh, jeez.
I would.
Projector.
Well, okay. So this would be a quick aside, but this kind of also influenced my views on the film. So I feel like it's important enough. So the show's at 7:30. You know, it takes about a 40-minute drive from Columbia to a town called Moberly, if you're ever in the area. We get there. We tune on to the radio station that they say to, you know, in order to listen in through your car. Not hearing anything, like, okay, well, maybe they're just not starting it yet. We could pull in, the screen's not on. I'm like, okay, and there's maybe like 5 cars. Now, granted, this is a Sunday night. I'm like, did we miss it? Did we show up at the right time? And then I go up to the little, there's like some girl at the counter, which is like a drive-through window, like kind of like at a McDonald's. But she had the window like stopped up like with like a stick, you know, to prevent the wind from accidentally pulling it open. So she wasn't even like sitting there. It took me knocking on it to get someone to actually show up. And then I'm like, hey, is the movie actually playing? And she looked over. I was like, oh, that's not good. Let me call the manager. And then so 20 minutes later, sitting in the car, again, I had snacks. I had snacks, blankets, pillows. I was ready to go, man. And then they knock on the window and be like, sorry, projector's broken. We can refund you or give you a voucher. So I took my money and decided to cave into our streaming overlords.
Oh. You tried, though.
I think I would have probably been more forgiving if I saw it on the drive-in, because I haven't seen a movie on like a really big screen in a while. And I think I would have been like, it would have been like one of those things like, you know what? I don't care. I'm so impressed that I'm actually seeing a movie like this that it's a 10 out of 10.
I can only imagine how muddy it would have looked, though, because drive-in screens are like notoriously a little bit darker. So I feel like big fight, you know, action scenes are always hard to see.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that night that night sequence at the end with Cheetah would probably been incomprehensible.
Mhm.
I don't think that would have, again, it couldn't have hurt the movie, but it definitely didn't help. It definitely didn't help it for me, but that's my quick aside. So that's why movie theaters are dying, more or less. It is my little side story.
Did Jen and Brian see it on the streaming platform?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it in one sitting. When a movie's good, I think we started kind of late. When a movie's good, you stay up late, you watch it. I turned it off 2 different times and then finished it a third time because it just wasn't that. I don't know. It's crazy.
I'm all for saving movie theaters, but how many times did we see a movie go to the movie theater after our oldest was born?
Twice. We saw
Twice,
Star Wars and Avengers Endgame.
So, I mean, I was happy that it was available on the platform.
I went one time with Gorehound. We saw Halloween.
Okay, I didn't see any movies. I don't think I saw any with my friends.
I missed the movie theater. I cannot wait to go back. I really can't. One day, hopefully.
I mean, I'm fully waiting till there's, till there's no more pandemic. But yeah, I mean, I like movie theaters. I wish we had, more options. And I'm very nervous about 2021, and now it's going to be legal. They've overturned some laws, and so now I'm a little bit worried that like Disney's gonna snatch up AMC, and that could really shift the media landscape.
More so than it already is.
Right. I mean, the more power Disney gets, the worse that we're all going to be. So I'm a little nervous about that, especially because I think movie theater chains will be very cheap soon, if not already. So
I remember hearing something where AMC would let you rent out like a entire theater for like it was like $100 or something like that.
It's super cheap, yeah.
I just want to say I for one welcome our corporate overlords, and maybe if they need if they need a young hip voice on the podcast circuit, I am willing to sell out.
All right, for all the AMC CEOs who are listening right now, Cuz is ready.
Got to do?
Please don't close your doors.
Well,
We still love you.
I don't know if it was AMC or some other one, but I heard that like they're selling tickets for like $1 each or something like that because just to get people to come to them, that it's like dirt cheap.
Well, I mean, I would not feel comfortable right now.
No. Neither would I. I'd go and get the popcorn and then eat that.
You love popcorn.
I do have I do like popcorn on occasion. I don't always seek it out, but if it's there, I'll be like,
I know. We go to Rookies. I need another bowl of popcorn.
Rookies is a good popcorn. So, all right. I got nothing else to say about Wonder Woman.
Yeah, sounds like we gotta wrap it up.
I do have to say the HBO Max app. I don't know if you guys watched it on like a Fire Stick or on your computer or whatever. We watched it through. We have Comcast as our cable provider, and you can watch HBO Max through your Comcast. So you just like load it up.
Like an add-on.
It's a nightmare interface that HBO Max has for doing that.
Big delay.
Like if you say you want to search for something, you type W, and you have to wait for
like 10 seconds
before you can get the next letter. We eventually just put it on our Fire Stick, and we'll just flip through it if we go to the HBO Max. But and the interface on that's way better. You can see what you watched already. You could pick up things. The other one's a mess.
It's
profiles.
All right. Well, I think
this was great. I'm going to be on all your podcasts now.
Okay. Take the pressure off me.
I didn't say I was going to do it by myself.
I
get to see people.
Yay!
Nice. So I guess we'll wrap up here, huh?
Yeah.
So for all the people on here, I'm Nick.
I'm Jen.
Brian.
Cousin Charles.
Never get this right.
One day.
We'll go Jen, Cuz, Brian, Kiwi.
That's the order everyone is on Mike's screen. Perfect.
All right. I'm Nick.
I'm Jen.
Cousin Charles.
I'm Bri.
I'm Kiwi.
And this has been the All New Culture Cast, and happy New Year, 2021. And we'll see you all next time.
You've been listening to the All New Culture Cast. Check us out on social media. Drop us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We can't promise we'll read it. Theme music by Dana Vodovaz. Check out his work on YouTube with Vodovaz Music Productions. This has been the All New Culture Cast, a Saltwater production. Original material copyright 2021. Thanks for listening.
Hey, maybe next week we should do Twilight.